Hello guys and welcome. Here I'm going to be presenting to you the 8% Club, which is a Dubai studio apartment investment plan. If you're not sure where to start with investing in property in Dubai, but you're interested to perhaps diversify your existing portfolio or try and make some money on Dubai real estate, you should watch this video because there is a really simple plan you can follow, and we have a bunch of resources already for you on PropertyAdvice.ae. I'm also here going to show you how to find these properties in a really quick and efficient way through something brand new we've just developed. So the key content here is going to be firstly looking at understanding the key strategy and principles of the way we like to do it. Then learn how to find the properties because they're not always easy to find. And finally, learn how you can get support through our new community over on Facebook. So I have actually set up a Facebook group for PropertyAdvice.ae, and people will be able to join and discuss and ask questions on all sorts of topics to do with investing in Dubai real estate. Please have a look for that link in the description. So, our main goal with this whole project is to help everyday people achieve strong, consistent ROI, so that means 8+% net returns from low cost, low risk ready properties in Dubai. That is what I'm trying to do in a nutshell. I think this is the simplest, safest way to invest in Dubai property and see some really positive returns. So all of what I'm doing is based on around 2 years of research, testing, my own real experience, and here are the key 5 principles that you should remember when looking for your next investment property. Now, this might not suit everyone, but like we said, we're looking at low cost, low risk properties that should actually still give you that consistent ROI, and these are the 5 things you need to be looking for in those. First of all, we're going to focus on small units. We are looking at studio apartments or even smaller 1-bedroom units because they typically give the best rental return anyway. We're looking to stick to ready properties only. So that means we're not looking at any off-plan projects because there is a lot of risk associated with buying off-plan. Plus, you can't get mortgages on them, and there is a few other issues relating to that. Target vacant units with renovation potential. These are probably going to be the cheapest options in the market that with a little bit of effort can actually make a big impact on your final returns. We're going to show you also eventually how to maximize the rent through smart leasing. What we mean by that is just being a bit clever about how you market your property, how you present it when it comes time to rent, how you instruct your agents if you're going to use agents, or even how to do it completely DIY. And then finally, reinvest and compound your gains. I think this is a point that is often overlooked, but if you're making profit from rent every month, you should be doing something with that profit if possible. So either putting it into an investment fund or using it to pay down your mortgage. So these are the key 5 rules I'm going to be sticking to through pretty much everything I'm doing on PropertyAdvice.ae. If this sounds good to you, then keep watching because I'm about to show you how I would be looking for these high return, low cost properties in a few key areas of Dubai. So I've just jumped over to Bayut. You can also use Property Finder, of course, and here's basically how we would be doing this. You would be looking to buy ready properties, and you're going to pick a location. So I'm just going to pick Sports City as my example location. And as I mentioned, we are looking for studios because they're typically the best returning. We're going to search and we get a bunch of options. In fact, we have a total of, let's have a look, 174 properties. Now, if you remember one of the other points in that list, we are also only looking for vacant units. Now, that can be a bit hard to find because a lot of what you'll see is actually rented already. The problem with that is you're probably stuck with a tenant that's not paying very high rent. So they might have got a great deal during COVID even, and now they are trying to, the owners basically had enough. They want to sell the property because it's not that well performing, so they haven't yet evicted the tenant. So how do we look for only vacant properties? Well, it's quite simple. You can just type in the word vacant into keywords, and that usually works out quite nicely. So now we've got a smaller list of properties, and of course you can sort them in various ways. You could be looking through these one by one. There's 48 properties here currently, but I'm going to save you an awful lot of time by showing you a spreadsheet that I've developed, which will actually complete all of this research for you. So here is the spreadsheet that we've developed. What this does is it automatically takes the Bayut for sale listings and ranks them in order of true ROI. If you're not sure what true ROI is, basically it's the total cost to buy that property, including all of the fees, and we look at how much rent you're going to get after paying the service charges and divide the two, you get the true ROI. If you're not sure about ROIs yet, please check out my video on how to calculate ROI first, because that's going to be very useful to you. How this sheet works is automatically every week or so, or every few days, we'll be taking all of the Bayut listings and analyzing them against the average rents in that building. Remember, we're only looking at vacant properties, and these are all just studio apartments, the cheapest apartments available. We're also combining that data with service charge data, and we can calculate the total buying fees, as I mentioned. So these are things like your agent fee, your DLD fee, and the real cost. And here on the right, you've got your list of listing links. So if you wanted to focus on, say, these 4 or 5, because they're all over 8% true ROI, well, here are all the links to those properties, and you can go ahead and check if they're still available and if you're interested to engage with the agent. Out of this list, I was actually most interested in this one, which was in the V2 building, a little more expensive, but a really nice new unit with a nice big window in there. We've got a modern kitchen, nice finishing. Seems like a very decent property. All it would need is a little bit of furniture and some curtains, and perhaps some, if it's not already included, I think it might be, but you may want to put a refrigerator in there, a TV on the wall, and this would rent for a solid figure. So if we look back over here, we've got an example rent of 54,000. You could maybe even push that a bit higher with some nicer finishing, and that would make a really solid investment. And like I said, V2 is quite a new building in Sport City compared to the ones above it. Ice Hockey Tower, this was a brilliant investment, but this one is already sold. So in the last few days, actually, this has been sold, but this would have been a really good investment because it's prime for adding a bit of value through renovation. And then obviously you can heighten the rent you would get. So the links to these Hotlist sheets will be available on both our Facebook group, and I will link them on the website as well. If you are interested in accessing them, let me know, and I should be able to get you onto a copy. Now, I have also looked at other communities. Now, we've got Arjan here. The reason we're looking at these communities is because these are the places where you can still get cheaper, simple studio apartments. So smaller units for lower costs. Arjan seems to be a little bit more expensive in terms of true cost than Sport City. Most of the buildings here are a bit newer, including this Samana Hills, for example. That's quite a new building. Their sizes are generally quite small, though, but people do pay for the premium of living there because it's a well-connected community, and we might see a little bit more capital appreciation in the future. But the same still applies. So these are from the 15th of October. If we go on to this, you'll see this unit, the best investment in Arjan, is available now. It's vacant on transfer. Here's the agent, so you can engage with them as you like. Now, this obviously saves us an awful lot of time when searching through those units, because most listings will not tell you the average rent. Sometimes they have a good idea, but your average rent would be for a furnished unit. Also, you can control the amount of rent based on the number of checks. So if you're willing to maximize the rent by just taking 12 checks rather than 4 checks or 2 checks or 1, that could be a way to simply increase this rent figure. And your service charges, you would just need to double check. We've tried to be as accurate as we can here, but you may need to check your service charges to see if all of it works. Now, once you've found your units, so in Arjan, we've got here 4 units that are all 8% true ROI or over, a range of buying prices, and of course, something like this Kew Gardens would get you a really high level of rent, but you do need to pay more up front for it. Personally, I would be going for the cheaper option. So in this list, you may want to go down to even Lincoln Park, which is a cheaper, older building basically, but they tend to return really, really well. You've got Samana buildings here, which could increase in value a little bit as time goes on when the whole community gets more finished. That's also a nice, cheaper option. But if you can stretch to maybe 700,000 or 650, you'll have access to nicer properties like the Beverly Boulevard is a more expensive building, but it's certainly a lot more premium than some of the others. So this is a really quick and simple way of finding true ROI high-end properties in some of these areas, and these are all live listings, so they will change daily. So some of these links will have already sold out, or they might be getting updated. So do have a look at a few once you found one. So let's go for, I think it was the V2 building I liked. Let's go for this one. So this, let's see if we can make this number go up a bit. The price is asking 550,000. The annual service charge is 7,291 for this unit, and the average rent is 54. So let's have a look now using our Dubai property investing calculator, if that's going to make sense or not. So 530,000, I think that was the same price. Sorry, 550,000 and then 54 for the rent. So let me swing back over here. 550,000 and 54 for the rent. I believe this was about 7,300. Annual maintenance should be quite low here. This one only really needs basic furniture, but let's assume we're going to spend 15,000 on it just to make sure it's really nice. Oh, that should be 54,000. Now, because it's going to have nice furniture in it, maybe we can stretch that to 58 actually. So that way, with a mortgage, and in 10 years, let's say the price increases, but not too much. What does that actually give us? Well, our annual net yield is 8.24%, which is fantastic. The kind of comparative compounding rate, if we look at this as a 10-year investment, is going to be around 8.64 per year, which is really good. If we reinvest those returns at just 5%, so all of our rent money we would put into a savings account at 5%, the property will pay for itself in 9.2 years, which is really, really quick. For the mortgage buyer, it gets even better because you only need to put down 172,000 with the renovation, with the maintenance services, everything, to get onto this property. It will pay for itself in basically the same amount of time through a mortgage, but you will have generated quite a lot more return because you're using the bank's money basically to make money from. So you are putting down a lot less in the beginning, but you're profiting something similar at the end. So it is kind of better to buy it with a mortgage. You won't get as much money at the end, but it wouldn't have cost you as much to get there either. So it depends on your upfront budget. If you've got 603,000, you can buy it for cash. If you've got if you need to get a mortgage, well, that is the amount that you'd need to spend. I think this is a really solid investment. It's really kind of hands-off as well because it's a relatively new building, and I can verify all of this because I'm using this calculator, which will help me out with all of those steps. So guys, hopefully you find this useful. Have a look out for the links, and I'll post more of these on our Facebook group as well. So you'll be able to have a look at all the latest listings. We'll update them every so often, and you'll be able to see just an overview of the market and the kind of prices you should expect and the kind of returns you should expect from various areas. If you're looking for a specific area, please let me know and I'll see if I can add it. But in the meantime, let me know how you think, and I'll see you next time.